Welcome to the Global Black Caucus Power to the People podcast. My name is Angela Fobbs. I'm the chair of the Global Black Caucus, and I'm here as always with Adrian George. How you doing today, Adrian?
Hey, son from Sweden. I'm fine, Angela. How are you?
Woo! I am glad that there are only 13 more days left to this election. It's a positive feeling to be so close to the election, and it's also a little bit nerve-wracking.
I agree.
Yeah, because I know that there are people who still haven't requested an absentee ballot, and we need those people to act now. Go to votefromabroad.org and request your absentee ballot. There are a lot of deadlines coming up for some of the larger states, the larger and important states. Texas is one of them. Virginia is another. And what is that third
Now,
one?
is that for voter registration or requesting the ballot or both?
That is for requesting a ballot, and also Nebraska. So that's for requesting a ballot.
Okay, so people don't delay. The time is now. The time was yesterday, but it's now, definitely.
Yeah.
iwillvote.com if you're in the States, to make sure you're registered and have your voting plan. And as Angela said, votefromabroad.org for us overseas, /ES if you want that information in Spanish.
Yes.
But do it now.
Do it now. Don't delay. Like, we can't keep, it's your time is, we've been saying all along, time is running out, but like, it's for real this time, 13 days. And please ask for your ballot to be sent by email, because it's never going to make it here in the postal mail. And there's a few in some places, some countries, especially in Europe, there's a FedEx deal that you can use it's 25 euros to send back your ballot. If you have any questions, contact your local Democrats Abroad chapter, or you can just go to Democrats Abroad on Facebook.
And you know what, Angela? If they need live help, they can still get that. It's happening today, isn't it?
That's right. There's live help on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Tuesday every week until the election. So all this information will be in the show notes on the podcast. So just go to Vote From Abroad. If you need help, you can click the help link, and there are people there to help you. Like, that's all we want to do, is help you vote. That's our main job.
We want to help you be join the ranks of the millions who've already voted. How many people have already voted?
Wow. It's kind of amazing that more than 42 million people have voted early, either in person or by mail, as Wednesday afternoon. And that's 6 times the 6 million who have voted early around this time in 2016. So this one is for all the money. So yeah.
That is incredible. Maybe this year is the year that Americans break their own record for voter turnout. We're definitely doing our part to make sure that happens among the ranks of Americans abroad. But you know what? We understand that voter suppression is real.
Yes.
And it's happening every day, and they're doing it to you in person. We even heard about a podcaster. His name is Corey Brotherton, and he shared his voter suppression attempt story on his Facebook page. He is in Texas. I do not know what state, city, or voting district he's in, but he said his father told him that he was turned away from his polling station. They told him he was not registered. His father told him they took his ID and entered his name and address in the system and told him he was not registered to vote this year. But his son wasn't satisfied with that. He went to iwillvote.com, entered in his dad's information, and saw that he was registered. So then he went and picked his father up and took him himself and made sure he voted. So
that's great.
Isn't that great? And talk about having a plan. That's why having a voting plan is important. His dad knew to tell his son, let 5 people know you're going to vote. You have him go with you. His son dropped everything and went and picked him up. We've invited him to come on this podcast. I don't know if he'll see my message in the other box of Facebook. But we want to hear firsthand what happened. Don't take no for an answer. You
That's
can
right.
verify your registration before you go and maybe print that out. If they also, maybe his dad didn't know that he could requested a provisional ballot. I do know this, the rules are different in every state, but don't let this year be the way you get turned away from the polls.
Yeah, this is not a test, you guys. Voter suppression is real, and it's being played out all over America. So we need everybody to vote, just well, for many reasons, but it's your right. It's your right to vote, and nobody should be able to stop you from doing that. Speaking of voter intimidation and suppression, let's talk about that story from Florida with what's happening with some of the Florida voters.
Oh,
Um,
you mean those nasty intimidation emails? They
that's
were,
right. That's right.
yeah.
That is absolutely. I'm a Florida voter. I checked my email. I didn't get one. I'm a little bit disappointed that I didn't get a voter intimidation email. But I've already voted, so you can't stop me. But I would have loved to have responded to something of that nature.
Well, yeah, it was reported yesterday that it went to some Arizona voters, Alaska voters, Florida voters, and Wisconsin voters. And today's headline on the Washington Post says that the U.S. government concludes Iran was behind threatening emails sent to Democrats. The deceptive campaign made use of an internet domain associated with the far-right Proud Boys.
Yeah, I don't believe any of that. As far as I'm sorry, I just don't. Trump has all his henchmen working for him, and he really wants a war with Iran. So I don't believe it. Anybody can get voter information.
Well,
That's
let me
not.
tell you this. U.S. officials, the director of national intelligence, U.S. officials on Wednesday night accused Iran of targeting American voters with faked but menacing emails and warned that both Iran and Russia had obtained voter data that could be used to endanger the upcoming election. Surprise!
Yeah, well, I know that John Radcliffe said what he said, and he's the director of national intelligence, but he is also beholden to Trump, and I have a lot of doubt about that. I mean, you could buy a voter file for a state. It's not that complicated. Um,
Which is why I can't discount that the Russians, what they did in 2016. The main point for discussing this, we're not going to solve this crime, and it is a crime to interfere in our elections, is to don't let anybody knock you off your voting plan game. This is
no,
just more proof to let you know how important this is that you vote and how important your vote is and how much power you have. There are forces seen and unseen, known and unknown, trying to strip you of that power, right? So use it. Vote. Don't go to the polls alone if you vote in a state where you fear there may be people actually at the polls that will physically intimidate you. Go with a voting buddy. Vote by mail if you can. Vote early if you can. Right, Angela?
that's right. That's right. Don't let anybody stop you, because this is, voting is really important. And there are so many people that will do anything to keep Donald Trump in office. Like it's actually sickening that there's so many people who would use anti-democratic means, like we're, in some kind of banana republic, to and that's what Trump is turning the United States into, a banana republic, to try to keep you from voting. It shouldn't work. We can't let them. I know we talked about this before, about all the attempts to depress voter turnout in
Yeah,
2016, and it
yeah,
worked. It worked.
yeah.
And
It
so
works.
we don't want that to happen again. If this was a swearing podcast, I would swear at this time. So just
Well, that's another
imagine.
podcast we can do. But you know what? I want you to know that you're not the only one who is skeptical of Ratcliffe's assertion. Further down in the article, it says Ratcliffe accused Iran of using the data to send spoofed emails designed to intimidate voters, incite social unrest, and damage President Trump. But some officials were skeptical of Ratcliffe's assertion that the Iranians were trying to damage the president. Senate Majority Leader Chuck E. Schumer, Democrat, New York, yay, who receives classified briefings on foreign election threats, told NBC's Rachel Maddow, from the briefing, I had the strong impression it was much rather to undermine confidence in elections and not aimed at any particular figure.
Yeah,
So they're acting with
and
all of us.
the whole thing about, one of the things that it's a repetitive theme that from Donald Trump and all his minions, that people are trying to do things to hurt the president, and that is a extremely self-centered viewpoint. Like, we're not hurting the president if these letters came from Iran. It is hurting the United States. This isn't about him specifically. And that's why just that saying that meant to hurt the president, like, that sounds very suspicious to me.
Well, you know what? You are probably right. And you could be wrong, right? I mean, it's like, we'll never really know, right? Have they ever? But we do know people are messing with our elections.
Yes.
Russians,
100%.
Irans,
Yes, they are.
Proud Boys, But you know what? Something positive also happened yesterday, and it is recognition of our power as Americans overseas, the power of our vote. We know that we're the margin of victory in close elections, but we were going to play. Angela, do you want me to play it, or do you want to play it? A 6-minute clip from MSNBC's Morning Show.
The clip. Hang on, just give me a second.
The link will be in the show notes. Good old Angela. I throw this out there and then she puts it in there. She's the brains behind the podcast. She put the notes in there. I have it queued up if you don't.
No, I got it. I'm just sharing my screen, and wait, did it share?
Fabulous.
Yeah,
so I can see it. But it was former U.S. ambassadors Bruce Hyman and Mark Brzezinski discussed the importance of overseas American voters to the election to Sweden. It started some think tank, I think, and does amazing work.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna play the clip right now. Everybody, stand by. See if we can. Something's wrong. Okay, I'm having internet issues.
Well,
for
you know
some
what?
reason.
Of course you are. Let me see if I am too. Of course you're having internet issues. That's what happens when you're live.
It's a plot from Iran. No.
So let's see if I do.
Wait.
Let's
register to vote.
Hold on.
Hey, American abroad. I know you live abroad. Must be nice. At least now Trump is president. Thanks to you, if you didn't vote last time because you were abroad. There's over 6 million of you living abroad that are Americans, and you can vote, for God's sakes. And there's a way to do that. And you can register to vote. You go to votefromabroad.com. Can you remember that, American abroad? Votefromabroad.com. Votefromabroad.com, okay? 50% of you live in battleground states, all right? Only 7% of you voted last time. You don't have to live here with Trump. I do. You could have been the difference last time.
Former Senator Al Franken in an ad for the group votefromabroad.com, if you didn't hear him. Joining us now is someone leading that effort for that group, former U.S. Ambassador to Canada, Bruce Hyman. Also with us, former U.S. Ambassador to Sweden under President Obama, Mark Brzezinski. He served on the National Security Council staff under President Clinton as Director of Russian and Eurasian Affairs as well. So Mark and Bruce, great to have you on. Bruce, I'll start with you. Is there still time for those abroad to register to vote? Or are we running out of time?
Well, for some number of states, we've missed that deadline. But for a lot of states, there is still a lot of time left, and a lot of swing states, too. Look at Texas. You've got till Friday to get your federal ballot. So go to votefromabroad.org or .com, get in there and register to vote. But for others, the ballots have already been sent out, and we need to get those ballots back. And so if you haven't sent your ballot back, you need to do so right now. 30 states will allow you to email or fax them. But another 20 states, you need to get that hard ballot back. And we're recommending you use a courier service at this late date, given the problems with the mail service. So FedEx, UPS, DHL, or other. But that isn't over yet. Once that ballot's in, you need to make sure it's accepted. And we're finding that in some cases, and just a recent case in Florida that I was talking to somebody, the signature didn't match. But you can cure that. There's still time. So you need a plan, and you need to put it forward. But votefromabroad.org or .com, either one, get in there and register. Again, a lot of swing states. North Carolina, you can go all the way to the end and return that ballot electronically, and we need those votes.
So, Mark, how powerful and plentiful is the vote abroad? Is it just, a few votes here and there around the world that could be coming in? Because if the election is close, could the vote from abroad make a difference?
Mika, the vote from abroad could decide the election. Take Florida, a key battleground state, and many people say how Florida goes the country. Florida ballots that live abroad, 200,000. And you and Joe noted earlier in the show that the Florida vote could be decided by 100,000 votes or less. So the implications are huge. And I have to say that, Mika, the show you and Joe run has been for the last years a tremendous call to action, whether it's children in cages, mishandling of corona, and the other troubles that we see today. For Americans living abroad, they see America in a macro perspective and can see how badly things have been fumbled in foreign policy and domestic policy. Whenever I travel around on business overseas, people stop me and say they love your show. Well, this is a message through you and Joe to those Americans and their families. Go to votefromabroad.org and register to vote. Get your ballot in. This is an initiative spearheaded by Bruce and Vicki Hayman to dramatically increase voter participation by Americans living abroad.
So, Bruce, it's Willie.
Really?
You've got the number at 6.5 million Americans living abroad, a total number there, of which in 2016 only 7% voted in the election. Why is that number so low?
So first of all, many Americans living abroad don't realize that they can vote. They think that if they live outside the United States, they can't. The second reason is, well, they can, but they don't know how. And the third is that they may go through the whole process, request a ballot, but they never return it. And so, or they return it late or in bad form. So this initiative, which Mark talked about, is one that is a large group. We use ambassadors for Biden, the Biden campaign, an incredible group, Democrats Abroad, run by Julia Bryan out of Prague, but so many leaders across the world. We're all focused on getting and increasing the number of votes coming in from abroad, and it's working. We're seeing huge increases in numbers. These numbers, like Mark mentioned, are going through the roof. We think we could add 500,000 to 1 million votes, and about half of them were swing state voters in 2016. So this could be a deciding margin, especially a state like Michigan, where it was decided by less than 11,000 votes. You may have that many people living in Windsor, Canada, right across the border.
Former ambassadors Bruce Hayman and Mark Brzezinski, thank you both. Thank you for your service abroad for our country and for bringing us this message about voters abroad. Appreciate it. Mark, call you later.
Wow. Yeah, that was really great.
That was great. And you know why that was great? Because that not only national coverage, people were going to see that and contact their friends and family that they have abroad and say, did you know what? Did you know you can vote? Did you know that you can make a difference? And your state was mentioned, Florida.
Yes, I know. Shout out to Florida voters, because we are the best, actually.
I don't know about that, but you guys are definitely Florida. I remember those hanging chads still leaving a bad taste in my mouth.
Oh my God. I don't even want to, that was the first election that I was a part of overseas, believe it or not. Like that, and that's like, yeah, so I have more bad memories of that election than you do. Yeah, everybody please vote. Shoot. Like, we need people to vote. There's still time, and send your ballot back. if you're having a question, then you can contact our help. You can go to one of our Facebook pages, Democrats Abroad, and you can send them a message. You can send voterprotection.democratsabroad.org a message, and they can help you. You can go to the live help. If you go on the Vote From Abroad website, there's a red chat bubble at the bottom. If you click that, if you have a question, there's 1,000 entry points to help.
Yes.
But you have to take the first step to get there.
And the first step, if you haven't registered to vote, check and see if it's maybe not too late for your state. You can do that at votefromabroad.org. If you're in the States, iwillvote.com. Second, request your absentee ballot. If you're overseas, to come by email. Check that spam folder after you've made that request. If you're in the States, iwillvote.com will help you put together a voting plan. See if you can vote by mail, see when you can vote early, see when you can drop your ballot into one of the boxes so you don't have to be caught up at the polls on voting day. Being in the polls on voting day is your last resort unless that's your only option.
There are a few states that only allow that don't have early voting. It's not a lot of them, but I know that there's a few. They're kind of
if you're caught up in one of those states, mask up, social distance, take your snacks, right, Angela? You may have to be there for a long time.
Chair, whatever you need. Make sure you've got a charger for your phone, like a battery pack. Do whatever you have to do. I've seen pictures, really. Everybody had a chair. Everybody has got their books or their phone, or they're reading from their Kindle or whatever. You're going to have to do it. It's a shame that this is our voting system, that you have to go through so much trouble. But Republicans have worked on voter suppression, and for years, it's their thing. They don't want you to vote.
Especially since the Voting Rights Act expired. It was like,
it didn't expire. It was the Supreme Court changed the Voting Rights Act.
When I say expired, an act is not a law. And acts do have to be renewed or whatever. And the Supreme Court whittled away. That was one thing that unfortunately happened on the Democrats' watch. But we know the tactics are real. We're documenting it. But here's the thing: President Obama is on the campaign trail now for Vice President Joe Biden and Senator Harris, and he gave his first major speech yesterday. Where was that? Was it in?
That was in Pennsylvania at a drive-in rally, which actually sounds super cool. I wish I could go to a drive-in rally. It just sounds like a lot of fun to be able to still be able to participate in a rally, but go do it, sit in your car. And I heard people honking their horns when they agreed, or it is actually kind of a neat affair.
No super spreaders. We're trying to keep people safe.
We're not like the president who's just like, why wear a mask when you can infect everybody? Really, he is so shocking. Like, all it would take, he's the president of the United States, and all it would take would be for him to just say, hey, everybody, why don't you wear a mask? I got COVID, and, that COVID's not cool. Instead, he's like, I've conquered COVID, and I'm like super great,
all he would have to do is, like, in the words of Spike Lee, one of his movies, do the right thing. But, do you mind, you have that clip handy? Because I would love at least a bit of it. We know that I'm going to
play a snippet from his speech, because the speech is 34 minutes long, so we're not going to play the whole speech.
But I can listen to him for hours. But right now,
but not right now. You go on YouTube, search President Obama, and actually they have a really interesting YouTube channel that's like, I think it's called the Obama White House, and it has like all the videos from his administration, from like the the campaign trail and then the inauguration and then all the little cute little vignettes and stuff. It's really great. So you can do that. But I will play this little snippet from his campaign video about Trump's. He's going to talk about Trump's secret bank account in China. Woo-hoo, China.
Ooh.
48
Not so
hours.
secret.
We
Not so
know that he
secret.
business with China because he's got a secret Chinese bank account. How is that possible? How is that possible? A secret Chinese bank account. Listen, can you imagine if I had a secret Chinese bank account when I was running for re-election? You think Fox News might have been a little concerned about that? They would have called me Beijing Barry. It is not a great idea to have a president who owes a bunch of money to people overseas. That's not a good idea. I mean, of the taxes Donald Trump pays, he may be sending more to foreign governments than he pays in the United States. His first year in the White House, he only paid $750 in federal income tax. Listen, my first job was at a Baskin Robbins when I was 15 years old. I think I might have paid more taxes that year working at dispensing ice cream. How is that possible? How many people here paid less than that? It's possible, just possible now, that if you are living high on the hog and you only pay $750 in taxes, that maybe, just maybe, he might not know what working people are going through here in Pennsylvania.
Okay. Yeah. I'm 100%. I'm 100% sure that Donald Trump has no idea what working people are going through in any state or country. He has no clue. He's never had to have a real job. Never.
I mean, I can't help but laugh when he said they would call me Beijing Barry. You know, he's right. Fox News would have ripped him a new one.
Yeah. Yeah, this is, but you know, they're more interested in maintaining the power of an anti-democratic leader, aka Donald Trump, than they are actually preserving our democracy. They're not for it. They're not having it. They're not interested. What they want is, I'm not entirely sure that they really know what they want. People think they want a lot of things, but if you're in a country where you have an autocratic leader, essentially you are beholden to that leader, and that leader holds life and death power over the citizenry. It's one of the main reasons why we didn't want a king.
Yeah.
Like,
well, you know what? You're absolutely right. And we have the power. It's the government of and by and for the people. We have the power, but that power comes through voting. So if you're abroad, go to votefromabroad.org. You can go to .com like Al Franken said, because we got that one too. And it'll take you to the same place. You request your ballot, ask it to come email, check your spam folder, get it back in. Angela can tell you about Live Help if you need it. When is it? I can never remember.
Live Help is today, Thursday. It's every Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all day Sunday, no matter what time zone you're in, all day Sunday, and also on Tuesday. So the next, we're running out of time to give you help, but if you contact us today, don't wait.
Yeah, T minus 13.
That's right, T minus 13. And you really don't want, what you want to do is on November 3rd, or actually November 4th, you want to have that feeling that you've done everything you can. And if everything you can do, you don't have to be like us, like be online all day, like, oh, vote, you know, you can just maybe text a couple of friends that live inside America or overseas and say, hey, have you requested your absentee ballot? Are you registered to vote? Do you have a voting plan? People respond better when they hear it from their friends. It's like I'm not going to say it's a social pressure, but it's something like that, that if
Well,
you
it's
hear
a social responsibility, and that's just what it is. If you want to be grown up, you have to do grown up things, and social responsibility is part of that, and voting is part of that as well. We can understand if you're disillusioned or don't believe in the system or don't think your vote's going to matter, or you think it's all the same, or you think somebody's already got it in the lock. Well, don't.
Yeah, it's
Don't.
nothing is on lock. So please go to votefromabroad.org. And I know that we're like sounding like a broken record, and I promise after the election we'll talk about other stuff. Hopefully we won't be talking about how you didn't vote, but that's
Yeah. So we're gonna dance on out of here with the feeling that if you haven't already voted or request your ballot, you're gonna do it today. You're not gonna let the bots or the Proud Boys or the Russians or whoever intimidate you. You're not gonna get turned away from the polls. You know your rights, and you're gonna vote like me and Angela did.
Yeah, that's right. Know your rights. Vote from abroad, iwillvote.com. Take action. Need help, go to our live help. That is a Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Send a Facebook message, send an Instagram message. It doesn't matter. Just contact somebody and get some help. So
We'll see you tomorrow.
we'll see you tomorrow. Have a wonderful day, and vote, everybody.
Stay safe and healthy.
Yes, that too. Stay safe and healthy, because things are getting crazy in a lot of places.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Have a great day. We're out.
Bye-bye.